Another site that's been killing it, did a rebrand earlier this year. Popular Information, my friend Judd Legum, one of the best. And he had something to say about Tuesday's election, and he brought something out that I had not really seen before. Please do support his accountability journalism, as he calls it, not political punditry. But these were his thoughts. It looks at the political dynamics that propel the winner and speculates that they'll create persistent challenges for the loser. Right? And he's talking about narratives that are being formed. So, for example, the 2004 election that resulted in George Bush winning a second term, a Republican-controlled House, Republican-controlled Senate. In the LA Times, Ron Brownstein wrote, Democrats face a long-term disadvantage in future races for the White House and battles for Congress, right? He suggested it would be very difficult mathematically for Democrats to regain control of the presidency or Congress because of their inability to compete in the South. And he shows the quote here. Okay, and this is, I don't know, where did he write this originally? LA Times, right. All right, so you got mainstream. 4 years later, Barack Obama was elected with 365 electoral votes, including Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida, which are the ones that he said that they needed to take and would never take again. Democrats also increased their margins in the House, which they recaptured in 2006, to control the Senate, winning races in Arkansas, Louisiana, Virginia, North Carolina. So again, in 2012, Obama won re-election while the Democrats picked up House seats in the House and Senate. In the New York Times, Michael Cooper laid out the case that demography meant that Republicans would never, ever win another presidential election. Well, we know how that worked out.
Demography?
While trying to appeal to older white men, right? So...
yeah. Southern strategy stuff that they supposedly apologized for.
Right. Republican strategists argued the party couldn't win while alienating the growing Hispanic vote with its tough stance on immigration, no longer nominate candidates who fired up its conservative and Tea Party wings, but turned off the more moderate voters in general.
And Trump went, hold my beer.
4 years later, Trump was elected, running precisely the kind of campaign that these strategists claim would never, ever work again.
Yep.
So Republicans were also able to maintain control of the House and Senate. And by 2020, things were very different. Tuesday was a bad day for most Democratic candidates. And it was particularly striking to see Republicans win the governor's race in Virginia just a year after Biden won the state handily. But a shifting political landscape shouldn't be a surprise. And he said his point is Democrats will do better in 20. It's not that Democrats will do better in 22. He doesn't know what will happen then. His point is that 22 will be very different than 21. Politics is much more dynamic than the coverage suggests. The only thing constant is change.
Yep. Rotate those villains, people. Rotate them.
Well, just that things don't stay in a vacuum. If Republicans continue to, they do XYZ while they're campaigning, they could be looked at as XYZ. But again, usually the party that's in power, they'll lose some of that power over time, and it erodes, and the other one tends to then gain more, and the game is played back and forth, and the planet burns, and we all kind of get rogered in the process.
This is fine.
This is fine.
This is fine. This is fine.
Well, you better get hip to Indie Left. Indie Left. indieleft.news.